Hello and welcome to the May update from Dean Park Station. Progress on the layout slowed slightly this month due to the warmer weather and the kind of end of the modelling season, if you like. But I've still been doing various little projects that I'll take you through in this video. I've also got some new locos to show you, as well as some new rolling stock. So I hope you enjoy the video, and if you've got any questions on what you see, please do get in touch. Cheers! I'll just quickly go through some of the new rolling stock that I've put on the layout this month, and these include the Bachmann TTA tank wagon, and these are in SO grey colour. The code for this is 37-576C. These have been weathered by the model centre and given their custom finish. Now, as you can see from here on the first one, I've got a very kind of grey black kind of finish on them. But each one that they've done for me, and I've got a dozen in total, has been given a different style of finish. So if I just quickly go through them, this one here has got a kind of glossy streak where the fuel has leaked down the sides. If I go further along, this is a slightly lighter weathered one, but you've got some rust or grime on the panel lines there. Moving along to this one, it's more of a browny streaky affair, which is really quite good, and it's also got the glossy stain down the side. This one given a kind of browny hue there with the matte, as in dried, streaking. This one's quite worn down and grimy, with some rusting streaks and some quite heavily blackened sides. And we've got a kind of variation as we move along. I like the ones that have kind of got the rust streaking, to be honest with you. They're really nice. A really grimy one there, followed by a lighter weathered one there, and then one at the end. They've done a great job with these, and I say this is the deluxe weathering on the wagons, and I've got a rake of 12 to go with my freight collection. A new loco for the layout this month has been this Class 47 in petroleum subsector livery, and it's a factory weather model, and the Bachmann code for it is 31-658. I picked this up, you could call it second hand, but it's in mint condition, and it was DCC fitted for well under £100, so I got a good deal there because it's an absolute cracking model. I do like the subsector livery. It's probably on the cusp of the era that I model, being the 1980s into the early 90s, so these kind of liveries did appear at the turn of the 90s. This one's been given, as I said, a factory finish of weathered appearance, and it's generally well done. It's a bit samey, and if you compare it to the Kernow Class 47-7 ScotRail livery, which is really in-depth weathering, this is more of a general weathering on this loco, which is still good actually. I'm impressed with it. It's got nice weathering on the bogies and the body side, and some grime on the roof detail. Also at the front there you can probably just see the windscreen wiper marks where the windscreen wipers have cleared the grime away from the windscreen. That's a nice little touch. It could be enhanced by some individual weathering though, whether it be yourself or sent away to a professional, but I'm happy with what it is looking like just now. This will be hauling my new SO TTA wagons that I showed you earlier in the video, and it's just a nice addition to the fleet. As you can see here, I've been busy doing brickwork painting on the retaining wall sections that will go in the lowered cutout section at the TMD side of the layout. I've followed my tried and tested method, if you like, of doing brickwork painting, which I've done a video on in the past, so if you want to click at the top of the screen now, the link will be there for you to go and see that if you want to know how I do it. There is more than one way obviously to do it. This is the way I've found to be more comfortable for my ability. I use Humbrol 70, which is brick, red brick, and then I use Humbrol 121 of a wash of mortar, put it on the top of the brick coloured paint, and then I let it sit for a little while and then wipe it off, and if needs be wipe it off with a little bit of white spirit on the paper towel, and it leaves the mortar inside the mortar lines and takes it off the top of the bricks. And depending on what kind of variation you want, depends how hard you rub and how much you remove. As you can probably see some variations there as well. The finishing touch for the brick colour anyway goes on with some rail match light brick, and that gives, as you can probably see, some patches, and I just brush that on, I dry brush that on to the surfaces and certain parts of the walling to give it that brick variation, because you know when the bricks are fired they're different colours to a certain degree, and depending on when they're put on the wall and what batch they are, you will get that variation in fired colour. I've been asked by a couple of viewers to go over how I program my locos using DCC. Well, first of all, if it's a new loco, I run it in using DC, that is without a decoder, and I use just a rolling road using the DCC Concepts rolling road equipment there to run it in using a DC controller. Once I've done that, I usually do it half an hour each way. Once I've done that, I fit the decoder, and then I'll program it on the programming track, and it's very, very simple using the Hornby Elite. You press the menu button, you press the dial, it comes up direct, you press it again, it says address, you press it again, it says address right, you then press it again and you put in the number you want. So let's just say I'm numbering this loco number 1. It usually comes up with default 0003, by the way. Let's just say number 1, and then press the button there, and the red light will flash and click. On some brand of locos, especially the Bachmann ones, the headlights will flash on the loco, on the tail lights. That's a good sign because it's obviously doing its job. And there we go, the red light stops, it goes back to address. I then press escape, press escape, press escape, it's back to that, and that is the program loco ready to go on the layout. Once you've programmed a loco, you might want to alter the acceleration and deceleration using the functions that are available to you on your controller. To do that is very simple on the Elite. You'd press menu, you'd go to loco, you'd then say display direct, you would rotate the controller till it says operate, and it comes up what loco you want to do. Obviously I'm at number 1 just now, so that's fine. And then I would want to rotate, and it says acceleration then deceleration, ignore that, go to CV, when it comes up CV, and you can select that, it says CV right, press it again. Now if you want to increase or decrease the acceleration of the loco, and you really want to decrease it because at the standard it goes off like a rocket, you type in the number you want there. I tend to go with 100 for the acceleration, and the deceleration I tend to go for 50, just because I like to slow down a little bit more with more control, and I like to control the deceleration manually. That's just my preference. Some decoders act differently, so you have to temper the settings a little bit. So if I wanted to type in, say, the acceleration, which is CV3, I would choose CV3, and then I'd click it again. It would come up with 000. I'd put the value I wanted in for the acceleration. Remember, the higher the number, the slower the acceleration. So I would say put in 100 there, and then I'd press the select button, and it would program it. The red light would flash. Okay? I've already done that to the locos, I'm not going to do it again. If I wanted to change the deceleration, it's CV again. Just to go back one, by the way, on the Elite, it's just press escape. CV right, I would choose number 4, and then it would give me the 000, and I would put a value in there and then press, intents purposes, enter on the dial, and it would do it. And then once you've done that, you escape, 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 escape. Brings it back to the main display, and it's obviously got the loco that I've got selected there, which is 0001, and it's ready to put on the layout. One final thing I want to show you is setting the speed steps. When you get a decoder, it's usually set at 14, and it ranges from 14 up to 128. You really want to go as high as you can with the speed steps. It gives it more of a realistic transition, okay, from a standing start. Now, to do that on the Elite is very simple. You select menu, you select loco, you then rotate the controller until it comes up features, and you press the button. You select the loco which you want to address, for the steps. I'm going to keep it at number 1, and you press the button again. It comes up with name. You can name the loco, which is really, that's pointless, and then you rotate it slightly and it comes up steps, and if you press it, it's at the moment it's going to say steps 128 because I've set it at that already, but if you were to press it there, you could then rotate 14, 28, 128, and then all to do is there, it says steps 128, and you press escape to come out back to the main menu, and that's it done. You can actually do that because it's not actually activating the controller programming section. You don't actually have to have the loco sitting on the programming track for you to do that. That's just the internal workings of the controller. For those who've watched me for a while, you'll know that I've got a storage yard at the end of the layout, and it's connected to the layout itself via 2 access roads, one at this side of the layout and one behind me at the other end of the storage yard, and it can access both levels. Now, up until now I've had a main road coming in and then branching out into 2 lines here and then spreading into the fiddle yard. With my expanding collection of rolling stock, I've had to add in some more storage sidings, and down here, this line here used to feed into another siding, but now I've put another turnout just off camera here, and it continues the track along around the corner and away down off screen to the left there. I've also, this siding here just used to go straight to the end. I've added a curve instead, and again that flows right the way around to the sloping roof part. If I move the camera, able to see that a little bit clearer. You can see the 2 buffer stops there. So these are really 2 additional areas of storage, and I've worked out that I can get another 10 coaches over and above what I got in there previously. So I've done that, and the wiring is all in place. It's all been connected up, and any new turnouts that have been laid, for example this one, I've drilled a hole in the base to take a point motor. This storage yard will be getting its point motors fitted with a view in the winter to getting it all wired up to control this via DCC, using some DCC concepts wizardry. And I've also not ruled out putting CCTV here, at 1 camera at each end of the storage yard, so I can see the movements from the main core control of the layout, so I don't have to keep crawling under to, you know, shunt, rolling stock, etc. I've added another line to this end of the storage yard. Previously this turnout here would just feed into the loop. I've added a new turnout in here. These are all small radius pico turnouts. If you want more realism, you go for a medium or a large radius, but this is just a storage yard. It's not going to be a scenic part of the layout. If I run some coaches into the new part, you'll see it going round the curve, following the 2 access lines, which form into one just at the bottom of an incline, which is just off your screen to the right. That now stores 4 Mark II coaches to here, which I didn't have storage for before, or 2 2-car DMUs, and I think I can just squeeze my APT-E into this area here as well if I needed it. So, you know, it's additional storage I didn't have before. Let's be facing it, we're never going to have enough storage on our layouts for all our collections. It's a case of managing what you need out of its box, and this kind of storage yard now gives me scope to do that, and there's a limit to where else I can go because of the sloping roofline and access to actually pin the track down. On my workbench this month, I'm wanting to showcase a new little handy tool that I've come across, and that is the DCC Concepts back-to-back gauge. Now, why I bought this gauge was because I had an issue with some of my Highland rolling stock. It was very wobbly as it went along the track, especially this tourist open coach. It was almost like, you know, shimmering along there and looking quite unrealistic. Once you manage to remove the wheel sets, it's a case of just prising them from the bogies. Quite a fidgy little thing. You take the back-to-back gauge and you press it. Now at the moment that's quite a tight fit, so I'm going to press it in there like so. Now that is, the wheel set's now been set to the 00 gauging, so when I take that out and do that to the other 4 wheel sets, I will be able to hopefully alleviate the problem of the shake and the shimmer as the coach goes along. So I'll do that, I'll put it back in the layout and we'll see what's in truth. Is testing the coach, just to give it a free run. There's less wobble than there was before, which means hopefully when I start putting it behind locos it'll run more realistically. mini update. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll try and keep the updates coming throughout the summer season, but with the weather being so nice outside just now anyway, I'm spending less time up the loft and more time in the garden and doing other bits and pieces, enjoying the sunshine. The S&T facility in front of you will appear in the July edition of Hornby magazine, so if you pick that up there should be a page spread of what I've been up to with regard to this area of the layout, or corner filler as Hornby have called it. Hope you enjoyed reading that article, and if you have any questions as a result of reading that, please do get in touch. Thanks just now, cheerio. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, why not check out one of my earlier videos? Or if you'd like something from the Network South East region, click on Richard from Everard Junction. The links are on the screen.